Assalamu alaikum students, and a very good morning to you all. I hope you all are doing good at your homes. Today we will start with a new chapter of English literature, and for that I want you all to please open your literature books. So today we will read a poem written by Amy Lowell, and the title of the poem is The Poem, and it's on page number 34 of your book. So I want you all to please open page 34 of your book and be very attentive throughout the lecture. I hope you all are on page 34 now. So let's begin the lecture. But before moving towards the poem, let us discuss about the writer, the poet of the poem, that is Amy Lowell. Okay, Amy Lowell was born in 1874 and she died in 1925. As she was born in America, she is known as an American poet, and she was famous for writing biographies. Do you know what is a biography? A biography is an account on someone's life written by someone else. All right. So as she has written on life of many people, she is famous for writing biographies. And one of her famous biography is biography of John Keats. John Keats is one of the famous English poets. This lady, Amy Lowell, was known as an imaginary poet because most of her poetry was based on her own imaginations. It was not close to real life incidents or it was not close to nature. It was all about her own imaginations that she has made throughout her life. So that is why she is known as an imaginary poet. All right. So this was all about the poet Amy Lowell. Now let's move towards the poem. Okay, so this is the poem and I will read the poem stanza wise and then I will paraphrase it for you guys. And after paraphrasing the poem, we will discuss the central idea of the poem. All right, so let's begin with the first stanza. It is only a little twig with a green bud at the end. But if you plant it and water it and set it where the sun will be above it, it will grow into a tall bush with many flowers and leaves which thrust hither and thither, sparkling. Okay, so here you can see a new word, thrust. All right, so thrust means force or a push. All right, another phrase that is new for you over here is hither and thither. Here, hither means here and thither means there. So hither and thither means here and there, all right? And sparkling means bright. So in the first stanza, the poet is saying that if you take a small twig and it has a small bud at its end, and you take that twig and put it in the soil, and you take very good care of it. By taking care of it means that it is provided with proper sunlight and you water it daily. So what will happen to the twig? It will grow into a tall bush, all right? When a, when a twig is grown into a tall bush and you keep on taking care of it, after some time you will see that sparkling or bright leaves will grow on that bush, and after some times you will see that beautiful flowers will blossom on that tall bush just because of the care that is being provided to the twig. It means that when you are providing it with the proper sunlight and you are providing it with regular water, a twig will grow into a tall bush with sparkling leaves and beautiful flowers on it. All right. So now let's move towards the next stanza. From its root will come freshness, and beneath it the grass blades will bend and recover themselves and clash one upon another in the blowing wind. Okay, here the word beneath means below. All right. So the poet is saying that when you put a twig into the soil and you take very good care of it by providing it with sunlight and providing it with regular water, what will happen? Not the only part that is above the soil will grow, but the part that is beneath the soil, that is below the soil, will also grow. Which part of the plant is below the soil? Its roots, right? So when we provide that tall bush with regular water and provide it with proper sunlight, not only leaves and flowers will grow on it, but its roots will also become very strong. When the roots will become stronger because of the care that is being provided to the twig, you will see that even if strong wind will blow, the it won't affect the bush, just because of the strong strong roots that have embedded themselves into the soil, and the roots have become stronger just because of the water and the sunlight that is being provided to the twig. All right. So in the first two stanzas, we get an idea that when a twig is provided with care, that is, it is provided with sunlight and it is provided with water, it's it will become very strong, and it will grow into a tall bush with leaves and flowers on it, and its roots that are beneath the soil will also become very strong. All right. So it all will happen just because of the care that is being provided to the twig. Now let's move towards the next stanza. In the blowing wind, but if you take my twig and throw it into a closet with mouse traps and blunted tools, it will shrivel and waste. Okay, now in the third stanza, the poet is saying that if you take the same twig out of the soil and you just put it into a closet. Closet is basically a large cupboard that is used for storage. All right. So the poet is saying that you take out the twig from the soil and you put it into the closet with mouse traps and blunted tools in it. Mouse trap. Do you know what is mouse trap? Mouse trap is basically a device that is used to trap the mouse. All right. We use this device at our homes to just trap the mouse. So that device is called mouse trap. And blunted tools. Blunted means something that is not very sharp. So here, blunted tools means that the tools that are not very sharp. Another word that is new for you is shrivel. Shrivel means shrink. All right. So the poet is saying that when you take the twig out of the soil and you put it into the closet, having mousetrap and blunted tools in it. Here the poet is considering mousetraps and blunted tools because we do not use mousetraps and blunted tools very regularly in our daily lives. We use them very occasionally. Mousetraps are used when we see a mouse in our house, and that happens occasionally, right? And blunted tools, as they are blunted, they are not very sharp, they are not used regularly. All right. So that is why the poet is using these two terms in the stanza. All right. So he's saying that when you put the twig into the closet with mouse traps and blunted tools in it, what will happen to it? As you can observe that if the twig is put into the closet, it means that it's not getting proper sunlight. It means that it is not getting water that is required for its growth. So what will happen to it? It will shrink and it will dry out. All right, and it will become useless for you just because it is not provided with the proper care. All right. So next move towards the next stanza. And someday when you open the door, you will think it an old twisted nail and sweep it into the dustbin with other rubbish. Okay, now in the last stanza, the poet is saying that after a few days, when you will open the door of the closet, what will you see? You will see a dry twisted twig in your closet. All right, that has become dry and that has become stale just because it is not taken care of. And when it will be, when you will see that it has become stale, and so what will you do to it? As you will think, as you will consider it as a useless thing, what will you do to it? What do we do to the things that become useless to us? We just throw them into the dustbin, right? So same will happen to the twig, because it has become stale and it has become dry. So because it's useless for you, you will just throw it into the dustbin with the rest of the waste materials that are in the dustbin. All right. So overall, the poem says that when a twig is taken proper care, it will grow into a tall bush with flowers and leaves on it, and its roots will become stronger. But if the same twig is not taken care of, so what will happen to it? It will dry and it will become stale. And one day it will become useless for you just because it is not taken care of. All right? So this is the main idea of the poem. Okay, so in this poem, the speaker talks about a twig that she believes must be planted, nurtured, and allowed to grow into a tall bush. If we do not allow it water and sunshine and shut it into a closet instead, then it will dry and wither away. Wither means it will become useless, it will become weak. The poem seems to deal with the plant growing from a twig, but it could also refer something else. What comes to mind when you read it? Okay, now how can we relate the story of this twig to our personal lives? How can we relate it? Can we relate it to our personal lives? Of course, yes. But how? See, when we talk about twig, we talk that it, when we were taking care of it, it was provided with care, it was nurtured, it was taken care of, it grew into a tall bush, all right? But if the same twig was not taken care of, it, it became dry and it became stale. So same is the story with human life. If we take care of people around us, if we give importance to them, if we appreciate the little things that they do, they will grow, they will blossom, and they will show their full potential just because of small care that is being provided to them, right? But if we stop taking care of that person, or if we stop if we start neglecting that person, and we stop appreciating the person for small little things, what will happen? The person, a day will come when a person becomes weak, and he or she would feel that he is not appreciated, so he won't be able to show his or her full potential just because he is not given proper care. So, what lesson do we get from the poem? That we should always take care of the people of or the small things that we have in our life, and we should always appreciate the people around us in order to help them groom themselves, in order to help them blossom. All right. So, being humans, it's our duty to appreciate and to take care of the people or the things that are around us. All right. So that was all about the poem. Okay, so now what you have to do is, as we are done with the poem. Now, for today, your home, I'm giving you a homework. As you all have got your study packs, right? And and your study pack consists of worksheets, right? So for today, your homework is that you have to read the poem and then do the worksheet on page number 3 of study pack. All right. So your homework for today is that you have to read this poem thoroughly. That is on page number 34 of your book. And then after reading the poem, you have to do worksheet that is on page number 34 of your study pack. This worksheet basically consists of MCQs that are related to the poem. So when you will read the poem and then you will solve this worksheet, it would be very easy for you to find out the answers of the MCQs. All right. So you have to do this homework and then you have to share the feedback on the WhatsApp group. And if you find any difficulty in doing the worksheet or regarding the poem, you can message me and you can ask me anytime. So that's all for today. Take very good care of yourself and stay at home and stay safe. All right. So Allah Hafiz for today and see you soon in some other class. Allah Hafiz.